Joe Thornton. Let's talk. Actually, first, can we talk about Wayne Simmonds, because it was all the rage Wednesday night. He gets into a fight with Ben Sherratt. 6-second fight, knocks him out. Game turns around. They at least get a 2-man advantage. They score in the power play, tie the game. Well, first of all, I guess I'll ask, do you think it was are you buying in it was the fight? And I guess maybe we'll mix both of them in. What does Thornton and Simmonds bring in that they didn't have before?
Yeah, so I guess for the Simmonds thing and kind of what you were saying, I actually said 5 minutes because I was on stream and I said 5 minutes before that actually happened after Montreal scored their third goal, I said Toronto needs something here, like either a bounce going their way and I literally said it, Simmonds, you need to drop the gloves, you need to do something, and he did that. I do think a lot of the shift was Simmonds, but obviously when you get a 5-on-3 power play, like that's obviously kind of the shift you need if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, an offensive team. So I do think the Simmonds thing helped a lot. He was firing up the bench. Obviously, you don't have that fans aspect. You don't have the home crowd getting fired up. But I do think it fired up the team a little bit. And you do have to look to the sense that both penalties for Montreal were based on Toronto pressuring, based on Toronto having that pressure in the offensive zone. One penalty goes down. I think it was Suzuki for like tripping or holding or whatever it was. And then you get another penalty from a delay of game. So it was just the pressure from Toronto. I think that's the biggest thing for Toronto, and you saw it against Ottawa last night, is like there was like 3 or 4 minutes straight of just straight possession in the offensive zone. And I do think kind of your point to a guy like Simmonds or Thornton, they're guys obviously that can get in front of the net, cause a little bit of chaos, more specifically Simmonds. And then with Thornton, I think it's more of like the reach of the stick, like getting the puck, just a quick kind of like battle, or kind of like you saw it a couple times like last night, like either just a quick stick check or just like lifting the stick and then getting it to Matthews or Marner. Obviously the biggest thing is like you're just lacking that speed, and I think like kind of the versatility at this point in their careers that you're getting with Hyman, and that's why maybe Hyman's the better fit, right? It's like Hyman, more speed, he's going to give you kind of that crazy aspect. He gets around, he gets the puck for Matthews and Marner, and then you do your thing. Thornton, it's more of kind of like in his own area. He's going to be effective in his own area. If the puck's on the other side, like Matthews, I'm sorry, buddy, you're going to have to go get it. So that's the only problem with not having Hyman there. So I'm okay with Thornton being with Matthews and Marner sometimes. Like I just don't think it should be like a consistent line. And the same thing with the power play. And this was driving me nuts right now. Like why change something? Like out of all the things that don't work for the Leafs, like I can confidently say, if you're an opposing team, when you go into a game facing the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you stack Tavares, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander on a power play, you are scared of that. You are not wanting to take a penalty. You are not wanting to go on the penalty kill. And right now, having Simmonds and Thornton as 2 guys on a cycle for the power play, that just takes up the options. And then it becomes a pressure of Matthews and Marner trying to do too much on a power play when you could have 2 elite players. So I'm okay with Simmonds and Thornton being utilized in the power play sometimes. But at a point in the power play, whether it's a solid minute on that power play, I think you should stack that up and have the big boys play, because at the end of the day, Simmonds, Thornton, Hyman, while they're all those type of players, like they only bring you at some aspects, like especially with Thornton in this, obviously good old Joe Thornton in his prime is a different Joe Thornton than what you're seeing now. But yeah, just back to your point, they're role players. They're not going to give you more than what I just kind of described. And Thornton playing 18 minutes, like it's too much. And if anything, I actually think the fourth liner Simmonds should have played a little more last night. I think they only played like 8 to 10 minutes. So that, like for me, just based on the roles, like that's a huge difference. Thornton playing an extra 9 minutes based on what he is right now. I didn't really like that either.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on Simmonds first. Positive. I think it did change the game. Whether or not it was a lot or a little, it did spark the team. And I thought that that fight was beneficial for the Leafs to come back and tie the game and go to OT to win. So I've been very impressed with him. I think that he does need more time when the game is being when it's hard for the Leafs in the middle of a game. you need to have Simmons out there more to spark and to create a bit more chaos, to get hard on the forecheck, to create some positive momentum in the Leafs' direction. So I think that he does deserve more ice time. But I've to be completely honest with you, I totally forgot that we had Simmons until that fight. Realistically, because that was the only time that I really saw him make a difference. He made a couple hits here and there before, but that's why we brought him in, and to have that grit, to have that Berkey term truculence, and I think that he does need more ice time when we need it. And as far as Thornton goes, it's fine to have him up there every once in a while, maybe an offensive zone draw. With Matthews and Marner out there, I think that'd be beneficial. But I think when you're rolling lines, you need to have Hyman up there just to create that more energy, more momentum, less. It gives a bit of a less role for Matthews and Marner to get the puck when it's not in Joe Thornton's area. Because Joe Thornton, he did make a couple plays last night where he made I know one. And he entered the zone with the puck, and then he gave a little bit of give and go with Marner, which was fantastic. And I don't think that Hyman would have had that same vision. So, good and bad for sure. But I think overall you need to have Hyman up there just rolling lines if you're going to be rolling lines. As far as the power play goes, I think when we need it, let's load up that power play. Let's load it up. Let's make sure that we can have as much of a threat out there as possible. I would love to see Simmons in front of the net all the time, just because he's that big body. He's got those big, long, lanky legs, and he's able to tip that puck. And then I think you have Nylander on the separate power play. He probably won't like that as a person, as a player, and that might cause a bit of friction. But say, for instance, if you have Nylander, Brody, and Nick Robertson as your kind of umbrella top players there. I think that'd be a dynamic second power play unit. And I'm sort of transitioning since I brought him up. I think they should put in Nick Robertson tonight. I want to see him in that top six. I want to see him potentially with there we go, Sean. Once again. I would love to see him on that second line with Tavares and Nylander, and for them just to distribute that puck to him and let him shoot from fucking everywhere. And once that puck goes to that net, start crashing. And I think that'd be perfect. So as far as like the power play units go, I think that's kind of like where you want to see Simmons, and then have Thornton in the second power play unit too. But I want to see Simmons and Sandin in tonight if that's possible. Or Robertson, I said Simmons, Robertson, and
Just to throw another one in here before, because I do want to talk about the taxi squad here quickly. What are Austin Matthews killing penalties? Are we okay with this? Or are we on Brian Burke's side that this guy's going to get in crutches and this is really stupid?
I mean, you know what? I also wasn't big on, I still wasn't big on, I'm not big on it looking back, but when Riley at one point was killing penalties and not on the power play, the whole kind of point of that was building Riley's game and kind of giving him kind of that whole complete player aspect as a defenseman. So I see what they're trying to do with Matthews. They're trying to get him on the penalty kill. They're trying to get him into that conversation of just being that complete centerman rather than just being the one-dimensional. So I get it. I do think based on Matthews' face-off, he was the better face-off guy. I think he was 55% last year, so he was good on the face-off. So I don't mind him on the face-offs and penalty kill, maybe something quick, but no, I think, and that's where I'm surprised again, going back to the ice time with Tavares. He should have got more ice time with the penalty kills. I think Tavares is fine on the face-offs. There's no need for Matthews if you have Tavares. So I'm not fully against it because of the aspect of building the player, but I don't think it should be absolutely a consistent thing. No.
Yeah, you can definitely have two. You have the two aspects here. You have the one where it's okay, how about he focus on scoring goals, than killing penalties, or you make him a complete player. As of right now, okay, sure, put him on the PK, see how he does. for, let's say, the next 15 to 20 games. If you don't like it, change it and let him focus on scoring goals. Because knowing him, the fact that he didn't score in his first game this season, because he's done that every other season, that is in his head. The fact he didn't score last night, that is in his head. And you can see the frustration at the end of Montreal. He's cross-checked, I think it was Sherratt, broke his stick. And you could tell that he was pissed off last game. He was finishing his checks, which he does every once in a while, but you could tell there's more purpose behind those body checks. And as of right now, he should be focusing on scoring goals and making sure that that is his number one priority, not killing penalties. And there's the aspect that he could get hurt for sure. I feel like he's a smart enough player that he wouldn't put himself in those positions. But once again, you want to put you on the PK. You want to have people who will block shots, who will put themselves in harm's way to make sure that the puck doesn't go on net. And it's the old thing. It's like, okay, well, are you going to flamingo? Are you going to, pussy out and not try and block the shot? Or are you going to let the goalie see the puck? And good majority of the time, you want to block the shot because there's too much traffic in front of that. So I guess I just talked myself out of it there. So no, I don't want him on the PK.